first time defending incumbency. Joining us now is the former Democratic governor of Virginia, Tim Kaine. He's now the chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Chairman Kaine, thank you so much for joining us at 9 o'clock on a Friday night. We really appreciate it.
You bet, Chris. Glad to be with you.
So as Democrats learned during the last two elections, it's a whole lot easier to be the party in opposition, particularly when times are bad. And I'm wondering how you see this progressive infrastructure that was built up during those elections. How is that going to be mobilized over the next few months?
Well, Chris, you do have a good point. I mean, it is, I learned early as a city councilman that it's often easier to organize around a no than a yes. But here's what we have going for us. We do have a battle-tested coalition of voters who turned out heavily to change in 2008. And at the DNC, what we focused on especially is continuing that coalition through Organizing for America, a grassroots effort of community organizers and volunteers around the United States that were activated around the stimulus and also around health care. And now we are turning that coalition to the midterms. In addition, there are a lot of allied groups, as you know, where we are working in tandem with them as well. It's going to be tough. Midterms are always tough for parties in power. But the Republicans are showing their hand. They are adopting a game plan that is basically bringing back the architects of the lost decade, Karl Rove, Ed Gillespie, and others. And Americans, they might not be happy yet, but they don't want to go backward. And I think we're going to have a very easy time pointing out that that's where the Republicans will take us.
Okay, so there's a sort of organizing aspect of this. There's a message aspect of this. As I mentioned before, conservative groups are also, there's a money aspect, right? Conservative groups are reportedly poised to spend more than $200 million during this election cycle. How concerned are you about the prospect of Democrats just getting spent out of the water here?
Well, we definitely are concerned about the dollars that are coming in. Look, the Republicans are apologizing to BP for a reason. It's so that they can go and get money from oil companies. They're going into the closet with Wall Street lobbyists for a reason, plotting to vote against Wall Street reform so they can get money. And so we have to be very concerned about that. But the DNC, on our side, we're raising historic amounts, vastly more than, for example, we raised in 2006. We probably raised 40 to 50% more this year than we raised in 2006 when we were that energetic offense trying to take back the Senate. We're raising it all from individuals. We don't take PAC and lobbyist money so that we can tell our supporters that it's not the big guys and the special interests that are buying up the seats at the table.
Well, but
the money concern is one that we have, but look, we're going to have the resources to be successful.
Let me just follow up on that, because I mean, individuals, there are individuals and there are individuals, right? I mean, the fact of the matter is a party in power is raising money partly on what it's doing legislatively, and there are people that are donating the Democratic Party because they're the party in power, right? I mean, I just want to be clear that even without PAC money, it's possible that special interest money is coming into the Democratic Party.
Well, again, we're not taking PAC money and we're not taking lobbyist money. You know, you can't necessarily tell why anybody gives, but we do this. We turn away checks from PACs. We turn away checks from federal lobbyists. That's new for the DNC. And the fact that we've done that because the Obama campaign did it, and we want to be able to look our donors in the face and say, hey, you're an individual. There's room for you at the table. Where we've seen the greatest increase in our donations has been in low-dollar donors giving over the internet. Hundreds of thousands of them giving for the first time, and they are not just donors. They're going to be energetic supporters of our candidates come November.
There's an interesting silver lining here for Democrats, and that's that no matter how discontented people are with the economic situation of the country, there's not a whole lot of faith in Republicans right now either. And it's actually a sort of fascinating zero trust atmosphere that I think is permeating the country.
Yeah.
No, it really is. And I wonder how do you operate politically?
Well, Chris, that's a funny way of putting it, and I'm chuckling. You're describing my life as I travel around the United States. It's a very unusual political environment. I've just done a 3-day swing in California, Idaho, and Wyoming. It is a tough political environment, and people are hurting, and when they're hurting economically, they're going to have all kinds of questions, and they're going to have discontent. However, elections still are choices. And we think that the choice between a party, the Democrats, that are doing heavy lifting. I mean, look, we had a shrinking GDP when President Obama came into office. It's growing. We were losing jobs a month. We're gaining. We've gained private sector jobs in each of the last 6 months. We are climbing a ladder that we've built with no help from the other side. And the right answer for America is to keep climbing, not to go back in the ditch. And by bringing back the Karl Roves and others who are the architects of the lost decade, the Republicans are demonstrating that that they'll take us right back to that time that cost Americans jobs by the millions, that wiped out private savings of folks, that wiped out home equity. Americans, again, they may have concerns, but they don't want to go backward, and that's what this election is about.
Tim Kaine, chairman of the Democratic National Committee, thank you so much for your time tonight.
You bet, Chris. Thanks so much.
Be well. Still ahead, is Senator David Vitter's predilection for hookers